Oh, that's crazy. I'm not sure what happened there, but I'm gonna have to put this into two parts. You guys, for some reason, my camera kind of just went off on me. I'm not sure why. But yeah, getting back to the reading, music was kind of like her dad's thing, and they didn't know that they were going to be popular, a popular band. Um, okay, she's saying that it was all about family, and that's what that was important to her. That's what she enjoyed about her music the most. Her career was being able to um, do it with her family. That was really important to her. So she's moving along, and she's taking me into more into her career as a singer, and she's saying that she's taking me speeding me into her death, and meeting her husband. So she's saying that when she met her husband, there was an instant attraction. And she's also saying that she didn't know that like they would be together because they kind of he was wild. She's saying that her family considered him to be wild and reckless when they first met. Now, with the woman that eventually would come to kill her, she said that they met through her trying to be like her best friend or like her fan club manager or something like that, she's saying. But she's telling me that now she knows that this woman was purposely placing herself in front of Selena, so that they would have to have contact with each other. This was planned. Them meeting each other was planned by this woman. Her name is Yolanda Salvador. She's telling me her name. And I already knew her name from, of course, the media and all of that, but she's very clear. I had actually forgotten her name because I haven't really studied on the case in years, or I haven't really heard about it in years. But she's saying that her name is Yolanda Salvador, and she's saying that she placed herself purposely in Selena's path so that they would meet. This was not by chance. This was not by luck. Okay. And she's also saying that she didn't see herself kind of like as this big celebrity for, she never saw herself as a huge celebrity. She didn't realize how big she was until after her passing, is what she's telling me. But she's saying that this woman was also in love with her. She said she did not realize, the woman that, Yolanda Salvador, she's saying that I did not realize that she was in love with me because she was in love with Selena. And she's saying that she wanted to be accessible to her fans. She wanted to be able to reach out and interact with them. And that was why she really jumped at the idea of having a fan club. So she's saying that Yolanda kind of came into her life and immediately kind of created this image of being like a best friend. They would go shopping together. They would talk all of the time. She would give her Selena advice. She would pay for things for Selena. So it was kind of like a period where she kind of, in a sense, wine and dined her, like took her out, paid for things like, no, I got it. I'm going to pay for it. Even though she was Selena, she put up the image that she didn't care about who she was. She just wanted to be her friend, and she would buy her things and all of that. But she was also in love with Selena and really obsessed with her. I get a very obsessive energy from her as well when it comes to Selena. Now, this started off as her just really wanted to be close to Selena. This started off as her wanting to kind of be a best friend of her and place herself in position to for Selena to kind of learn who she was and all of that, because again, she was in love with her. Now, Selena's father was always warning her about this woman. He didn't trust her, and he didn't trust too many people, period. But specifically, he did not trust this woman. And her father would constantly warn her to be careful and to not tell her so much and to not talk to her so much and to not be so open with her. But Selena was a very open and honest and just very warm person. She loved people, and she loved being around people, and she would open up, and she was very emotional as well. So she would gravitate to people and attach to people very easily. And she really saw a friendship in Yolanda. And it was genuine. She really felt like Yolanda was her friend. And so even though her father would want her to stay away from this woman, she would still befriend her, and she would still confide in her, and she would still talk to her. Now, Selena's also telling me that the energy between she and Yolanda changed when she met her husband. She's saying, when I met my husband, the energy between us shifted, and I didn't notice it then, but she's saying after my passing, I had time to really look back on things, but she's saying that I did not realize that she was beginning to act differently towards me after I met my husband. And Selena's saying that Chris was kind of like the only guy she had ever really been with. She said, I never had any boyfriends before Chris, because my family was very protective. She's saying that her family, she was the baby, and she's saying that her family was very, very protective of her. Her mom, her dad, her sister, her brother, everyone was very protective, and especially her dad. He gives off very protective, very overbearing vibes. So he, more so than anyone, did not allow Selena to date. He was very strict on her, very judgmental, and just very eye open when it came to her and what she had going on in her life. So Chris was like really the first guy that she rebelled with when it came to her family, and she was really in love with him. So she's saying that when Chris and I first began dating, we kept it a secret. We didn't tell anyone. And she's saying, I did tell my mom eventually, but I did not tell my dad. And she's saying that my mom ended up telling my dad because I was terrified to tell my dad that I was dating Chris, who was a part of the band. And that's how they met. And she's saying that eventually my dad found out, and they came to accept Chris, but she's saying that in the beginning her dad kind of forbade her to see him. This was a very forbidden love in the beginning, and she's saying that her dad was very strict on her, and she's also saying he fired Chris. So I'm not sure if there's a period where maybe the dad fired him, and then she kind of went to bat for him, and he got rehired. But once they got married, because there was pretty much nothing that he could do about it after that. But he was livid when he found out that these two were married. And she's also saying she was constantly seeking her dad's approval. She's saying she was like a daddy's girl in that sense. She was always seeking his approval. And the vibe was a little different with her mother. Her mother was just more understanding, and they had more of an open vibe. So she's saying that her husband had a very not sketchy background, but kind of like the bad boy swagger to him. He'd done a few things in his youth, maybe stole a car here or there. But she's saying that they connected. They had a meeting of the minds, and they had a meeting of the minds, and they really took the time to just talk and simply get to know each other. They did a lot of just talking, just the two of them. Okay. And she's also saying that it was a whirlwind romance. Like, they fell in love very quickly. They went and eloped. They got married. I'm hearing Vegas. She's saying they went and got married in Vegas is what I'm hearing. And she's saying that they were extremely happy. She said that they were still in honeymoon vibes when she passed away. She said we were still acting like newlyweds. We were deeply in love, and she's saying that they were trying to have a baby. She's saying they were in the process of trying to have a kid. She's saying that we were very happy. He was a great husband. She's saying that he did everything for me. He was funny. He was goofy. He knew how to be serious at times. She's saying that he understood me. Okay, she's saying that this was a solid marriage. This marriage was solid. Now, getting back to her death, this woman, Yolanda Salvador, because she's taking me back to that, she's saying that once she got with her husband, things between she and Yolanda changed. She noticed that she became distant. You know, they would hang out all the time before she met her husband. And she's saying that after she met Chris, they didn't hang out as much. They didn't talk as much. And she didn't notice it then because she was always working. So she's also giving me the vibe that she was a workaholic. She's saying that I would work constantly. So between that and just being a newlywed, there were so many things that I would miss. There were so many signs that were there that I didn't see then that I saw after my passing. But the father was always suspicious of Yolanda. Like he never fully embraced her. And he always felt that there was an ulterior motive. And he had a very good intuitive spirit when it came to her. So he just did not like her from the beginning. And so he always had his eye on her. And that's how he found out that she was stealing, because she was stealing from the company. No, she was stealing because, for one, she was angry when Selena got married. That angered her very much because, again, she was in love with Selena. So this marriage infuriated her, and she felt the best way to get back at Selena was to steal from her. And so she began stealing. But the father caught on very quickly. The father caught, it had been a couple of months, and the father began to catch on that she was stealing. But he purposely waited to bring this to Selena because he wanted to show her proof. Selena and this woman had become very close in Selena's mind, and she really genuinely embraced her friendship with Yolanda. This was not a put on for her. She saw them as friends. Now, when the father brought the theft to Selena's attention, she was very hurt. She's letting me know she was extremely hurt because she trusted Yolanda very much. She really trusted Yolanda with everything that she had. And she's saying that I never thought, she's showing me a lot of pain and grief because of that. She's saying she never thought that she would take anything from her because she gave her so much. She's saying that I treated Yolanda just like my own. She's saying that she would, she paid her very well. She's saying we paid her very well, more than what was necessary to do the job that she was doing, and she still stole from me. Now the father came with proof to Selena, so she had no choice. She's saying I had no choice but to listen to my father, even though I didn't want to believe it. I had to kind of see it for myself. Now she's saying that how she got to the hotel room that day. She's saying that my father warned me not to go. She's saying her father told her not to go and to let him and the police handle it, and a lawyer. She's saying I can hear the father telling her that they're going to get a lawyer and that this would all get handled and to not do anything. But Selena felt betrayed. She felt like this was her friend and I should be able to talk to my friend and see what's going on and why this happened. But Selena's saying that she's not the one who suggested the hotel meetup. She's saying that Yolanda Salvador called her and invited her to this room and asked if they could talk. And Selena is saying that she started not to go. She's saying that her gut instinct told her not to go to this room. But she's saying against my intuition and against my better judgment, I went because I trusted Yolanda and I never thought she would do anything like this. She's also showing me when she got there, she's saying that I was not angry. She's saying even though in the movie it may have come across as though she was a little frustrated when she first got to the room, she said that was the complete opposite. She's saying that when she got to the room, she was in a very neutral space. She was not angry. She was not upset. She was just seeking answers. She's saying I went to her very humble, she said, I went to her with the mentality of talking to a friend. I did not confront her as an employee. I confronted her as a friend. She's saying that when she got to the room, Yolanda started off being very nice. She's saying she asked me to sit down. And she's saying that she did. She's given me an image that she did sit down. She's saying she sat on the bed. She's telling me that she sat on the bed and she said that they began talking. And she's saying that I had the papers with me. She's saying she had papers with her that her father had provided her with, showing her that this woman was stealing from her. Because in the beginning, she's saying she wouldn't admit. So she asked Yolanda what was going on, and she's saying that Yolanda would not admit that she was stealing. So she's saying I had to pull out these papers. I had to pull these papers out. And she's saying that escalated the conversation very quickly. She's saying, I told Yolanda that I was going to go to the police. That's what set her off. That's what triggered this. Yolanda, I'm I'm tapping into her energy, and she's saying that I was going to lose everything. She was going to lose the lifestyle that had been provided to her just by being Selena's assistant. She's saying that she was going to lose notoriety. She was going to lose her career, her freedom. And most importantly, she did not want Selena to see her in that light. And so that infuriated her. It triggered something in her brain because, again, she kind of was in love with Selena. So she was very angry. She felt like, how dare you cut me off? How dare you treat me this way? You know, how dare you threaten me? So that's what escalated the conversation that day. And so I can see an image, Selena's showing me an image of her getting up off the bed and walking away. She's getting up off the bed to go walk away. She's like, I'm done with this conversation. And as she's getting up to go walk away and go to the door to leave, the shot. I can hear and see the shot ringing out. So she shot her in her back. She never had the opportunity to turn around. She was completely unaware of this attack. She had her back turned. She was on her way out of the room when she was shot. That's what she's showing me. Okay. And she's saying that I have forgiven her now. She's saying I've forgiven her and I'm at peace with it. And I don't hold any grudges against her. She's saying that she wishes her peace and she wishes her well. She wishes her well. She's also saying that I wasn't the type of person to hold grudges. I was a very happy, bubbly person. She's saying that she's also showing me a lot of regret for her marriage. She's saying that I regret not being able to be a wife to my husband. I regret not being able to bear his children and be a mom. She's saying that we didn't have an opportunity to do anything that we wanted to do. It was all taken from me. She's saying that her life, her marriage, her husband, her family, all of that was taken from her. And she didn't have a choice in the matter. She's saying, I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to give Chris children. I wanted to grow old with my husband.